Call the member for Gellibrand.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Well, today will be a very sad day for many Australians as we commemorate the life and the tragic death of cricketer Phil Hughes. Phil Hughes was not a soldier who died in service of his country, nor was he a hero who died trying to save others. But his death has greatly affected our nation and touched something within many, many Australians. And it is appropriate that we acknowledge this grief in this chamber. All loss of life is tragic. Family and friends will mourn the loss of loved ones just as deeply, regardless of whether the nation and the media spotlight accompanies them. But in this case, the Australian public, and particularly the Australian cricketing community, is in mourning with Phil Hughes' family, friends and teammates, because we feel a shared loss. The public loss of such an enormous talent and such enormous potential feels especially bitter to us all. We all know how much more Phil Hughes had to offer Australian cricket. It will be small consolation for his family and friends, but Phil Hughes will long live on in Australian cricketing folklore. Like Archie Jackson, another teen cricketing prodigy who died of tuberculosis at just 23 years of age, 80 years ago, yet lives on in the imaginations of the cricket-obsessed 10-year-olds across our country, Phil Hughes will hold a special place in Australia's collective cricketing memory. I'll tell my children how, at just 20 years of age, Hughes scored centuries in both innings of just his second Test match in South Africa, becoming the youngest player in history to achieve this feat, punching the South African pace attack through the offside again and again and again. I'll tell them how I sat glued to the television throughout the night, watching Hughes and another brilliant young Australian cricketer, Ashan Agar, compile a world record last wicket stand of 163 runs, with Hughes giving Ashan Agar every opportunity to score a magical century on debut from number 11, while falling just 2 runs short. Truly one of the most extraordinary cricketing partnerships I've ever seen. And I'll tell them that if Hughes had lived long enough to receive another chance as a Test cricketer, he would have surely followed in the footsteps of other brilliant young talents like Steve Waugh, Matthew Hayden and Damien Martin, who came back from periods outside the Test team to achieve even greater feats in the baggy green. The fact that this public loss of Phil Hughes, the loss of his great potential and talent, occurred in the most prosaic of circumstances, while doing something that so many thousands of cricket-playing Australians have done many times over, makes it that much more personally affecting for us all. The way in which the put-out-your-bats phenomenon has taken hold in the days following Hughes' death is a testament to this feeling of shared loss in the Australian community. Since Sydney father Paul Taylor placed his cricket bat at his front door and tweeted the image in Hughes' honour, thousands of Australians and sports lovers from all around the world have joined in this act of respect to demonstrate their appreciation for Phil Hughes in a tangible way. As Taylor explained, we've all played cricket in one way or another. We've all grown up with a bat and a ball. This is our way to show our sadness. We find our sense of community as Australians both when we want to celebrate and when we need to mourn. And in this way, it's pleasing to see how the Australian cricketing community has embraced Sean Abbott, the bowler who had the pure bad luck to have delivered the fateful ball. We all know that Sean Abbott bears no responsibility for what has occurred, but we also know that he will be suffering more than we can imagine at this point, wondering the little things that he may have changed on the day. Our thoughts are with him at this time. He bears no responsibility and he has our full support. Also want to note the way that the Australian cricket captain, Michael Clarke, and Cricket Australia have managed this extraordinarily traumatic event. The deferral of the first Test match showed appropriate consideration for the welfare of the Australian players dealing with the loss of a friend and work colleague. And the decision to adjust Phil Hughes' final scorecard to record him as being forever 63 not out, forevermore, is an especially apt symbolic gesture. Symbols matter at times like this, and that little asterisk beside his name will be a potent symbol and a reminder for the generations of cricketing Australians to come of what the Australian cricket community has lost in the tragic death of Phil Hughes. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.